Hey everybody, we are here. We've been out on a little hike today, hanging out, talking trumpet, talking shop, and having some fun out here in the marina around Paulsbo here, Washington, where I live. So we were just talking a little bit about some questions that have come up and some ideas to talk about. But one of the things that's come up with a lot of people here, especially if you're 50 plus, is hearing loss, tinnitus, and the use of earplugs. So how about you?
I've unfortunately had tinnitus, whichever, for years and years, and I can actually pinpoint it to two gigs where it caused the most amount of damage. Basically, if you can learn to play with earplugs, that's a really good thing, and we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I can pinpoint mine down too, now that you're talking about it. I was playing a wedding with my band, and so the best man came up and he said, can I play drums with you guys? I went to Berklee College of Music and all that stuff. So we reluctantly said, okay. So he said, do you guys know Twist and Shout? So we said, yeah, of course. So we did Twist and Shout, and I went to grab the tambourine. And so as I was bending over to pick up the tambourine next to the hi-hat and snare, he counts off 1, 2, 3, blap, and he hits beat 4 as hard as he could. And I felt it really strongly in my left ear. Picked up the tambourine, played. We ended the night. And the funny thing was, we're packing up, and me and my buddy Nathaniel, we're packing everything up, and we get everything in my van and stuff. And I'm driving home, and I'm thinking, wow, my van is so quiet and smooth, this is great. And then I turn on the radio and I'm like, what? And I compare my ears and I'm like, oh shit, what the hell happened, So that's when I had mine, had that happen to me. But I've used earplugs. I did go to an audiologist, and I had some, they're hard silicone made to fit my ear canals and that, but I hate them. And the reason I hate them is because they're hard. And when we play the trumpet and you start playing higher and you start playing louder, your ear canals compress around it, and it can be painful.
I've also found, and I do have a set of in-ears that were custom molded, also moving your jaw, that sort of works the earplug out a little bit. If they're a harder silicone like that, and I found that you lose the seal then, and it's less protective. Funny thing, you mentioned the drummer. What is it about drummers, especially the
deaf.
ones that are maybe not as accomplished? They just play louder. I know I played louder as a trumpet player when I couldn't play certain things. I go, and I just hammer it. But same thing for me. It was a percussionist, was on a Latin gig, and he had one of those resin wood blocks, and he was playing the clave.
The jam block.
And I was doing a solo, and he got excited, and pretty soon he's up right next to me going, go, right in my right ear. So, be careful. But we've also talked about practicing with earplugs, and I think that's a really good bit of advice, because when you get into a situation like Bobby and I were just talking about, and you find a need for earplugs, if you haven't practiced with earplugs, it can be really disconcerting. Like you're in a different room,
it's like
you're not playing with the group.
Whole different thing, right?
Yeah. And it does affect your resonance a little bit or a lot, and it can also affect the way you choose your tongue placement and so on. So try and get inside your head by practicing with those earplugs.
Yeah, for me it makes me feel like I can't shape my sound, because I can't really hear my true sound. I hear what's basically in my head. I have found these little earplugs, they're all over the place. The ones I have now are made by Fender, like Fender guitars, and they have different rows of silicone on them, and you can pull them in, and I can pull one or both out just enough to where I can hear my sound, and I can still shape it. And if the gig's not super loud, then I do that. If the gig is really loud, well, then I just have to suck it up. And I practice the sort of the thing that Bobby Shue taught me with cotton balls, where you tongue certain note, like a G will say, starting at triple P, double P, P, MP, all the way up as loud as you can get, and then back down again to learn to play by feel. And so for me, that's helped me a lot.
So you learn a certain amount of trust in yourself, that if you're doing what physically feels correct, when you are able to hear yourself, and then just internalize that feeling when you put the earplugs in, then you learn how to trust your body, and it can really save your hearing. It can save your chops too, because inevitably, well, if you're like me, if you can't hear yourself, you start pushing a little bit harder, playing a little bit louder, and the point of diminishing returns comes pretty quick, where for me, if I'm overplaying, I'm playing too loud, I spread my chops, and then I end up having to play even louder because then my chops aren't vibrating. So it's kind of a catch-22.
So the moral of the story is buy yourself some earplugs and practice with them, figure out how to do it for yourself, figure out what works. And like we always say, don't be afraid to experiment, because trumpet is unique to each of us and we're all a little bit different. So learn what works best for you.